I'm Ria, and this is Siddharth, and we're going to be your host today for today's podcast. So, we have with us today Prabhat Kumar, who's the Global Head of Platforms and Products at Evalueserve, where he works to modernize and optimize tech using advanced AI techniques.
It's great to have you with us, sir. Why don't we start off with a small introduction from your side?
Oh, absolutely. So I think Ria already covered, but just to give you a context, so I'm Prabhat, I'm Global Head of Platforms and Products at Evalueserve. Right, we come with around 25 years of experience. Over these 25 years, I've been working in multiple geography, which include India, Middle East, Europe, and US. If I just split my whole career, it would be like 50%, more than 50% outside India, and the rest of the time in India. Um, for last 5 6 years, I've been in India, and I've been were traveling globally, still uh, managing clients in Latin America, Europe, US. That is what kind of a brief on me.
Okay. So, you mentioned that you've worked across multiple geographies. How has this global exposure shaped your perspective on technology adoption and transformation in different and diverse markets?
Okay, that's a great question. Think of this. Let's think of this as a diverse world, right? So if you look at India, right, how we operate in India versus how there is a Middle East, there is a Europe, and by the way, these are all areas where I operated and lived, right? And
Yeah.
there is a US, right? Now, if you look at so all these areas have a different level of growth in terms of technology adoption, their society acceptance, culturally, right?
Yeah.
So, so if you start looking at each of those areas, you will see they want to use technology for very specific purposes. They just and in a particular way. So just for example, and again, no offense to India, and I love India. That's why I came back to India. But just think about it. Our data privacy law here, right? So if you come here, everybody who comes to your house and want to deliver you a credit card, they'll say, "Hey, show me your Aadhaar card," right?
Yeah.
Or somebody will say, "You show me." I mean, I was just listening to a news yesterday where some political party, let's not name them, right? But they were collecting data of your Aadhaar and personal details and all, right?
Yeah.
Now you step into Middle East or you go to Europe. And I'm talking about not that all those problematic areas, but I'm talking about UAE and Saudi Arabia, right? Or if you go to Europe, right? So it's impossible to ask for the personal information from the people directly, especially if you are not a government authorized or if you are not authorized to,
Yes.
right? So based on what is available in which geography, who is willing to share, where it is legal, things do change, right? So the solutions change, technology change. I'll just give you a simple example, right? Similarly, if you go to banks, I was recently doing some solution for a bank which is based out of Iraq.
Okay.
Now, and again, interestingly, who brought us there is one of the major credit cards there. Now, there is across the world there are only three or four, right?
Yeah.
Discover, Visa, Mastercard, and American Express. So maybe one of them, right?
Yeah.
Now, those credit card operators also operate in India and they operate in Europe and America, everywhere. I mean, these are the four who operates everywhere technically, right? If you just minus Discover, the rest of the three is almost in 180 plus countries, right?
Yeah.
Wherever it matters. Now, to the country or to the bank which we were trying to do this design, it was it was like everything that I was listening to about their processes, what they do, how they run business, was new to me after 25 years in this industry.
Oh, wow.
Completely new. Because those were so loose to the fabric, those which I don't think we even had it in the early 2000s, right?
Yeah.
So when you are a solution provider, you have to respect the geography, you have to understand the local culture, what is acceptable, what is not, and then you deliver as per. So there is nothing called right or wrong, right? You can implement most stringent, say for example, AI governance model of Europe, or maybe you implement GDPR and whatever you want to, right? But if the local geography don't need those restrictions or don't need those controls, what happens? You inflate the cost, right?
Okay.
So you have to understand the geography, their demand, how they want to operate, what are their regulatory challenges before you start doing anything in the engineers like to do, that's coding and the development and all of that, right?
Yeah.
So so that's why I just wanted to give a kind of a quick thought, like how we see the different parts of the world stepping up. And when you move to any country, you start working with any different countries like the US or Europe or Middle East or India or even ASEAN, you got to understand what that geography is all about. What is their demand? What is their posture? And these informations are more geography specific than maybe the bank itself. Sometimes banks or insurance company or a financial institution, or for that matter, government will not even tell you these, because for them, this is all important. This is all understood because you are developing a solution for Singapore. You should know Singapore, compliance standards, right? So I just don't want to take you too much of time, but just wanted to give you a brief perspective that when we move across the world, how it is different, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Okay, so since you've definitely worked for such a long time in many different industries, how did you start off? Like, how were your early days? What sparked your interest into getting into what you're doing now?
Again, I'll be honest, right? Just that it's 25 years, reasonably okay kind of a career, right? Uh, I would not say that everything worked as per plan, right?
Yeah,
So when you start your career, a lot of time you don't have choice, right? The key is to stay put with your thought. What you want to do, where is your interest, and maybe in 6 months, year, 2 year time, because see, you get into a placement, right? You get into a placement, or you get into your first company. Some of you, when you will go into a company, you will realize that first few months, few year, you may not be even fully productive, right? And then you putting up that your own demands, that what you want to do, can be like a counterproductive, right?
yeah,
So it has to be a journey. That was exactly the same journey that I had. So I started off learning things, first being good at what I do, right? Once I did, then through the movements from the one company to another, my preference was always not the financial compensation, geography, country. No, my preference was what I want to do. So if I get a next opportunity which is aligned to what I want to do, I will try to move there.
yeah,
And some of my mentors helped me to navigate those parts because they said that, hey, if you bring the talent, you bring the skill to the table, right? People will pay for it. Don't worry about money. People will pay for it because there is always shortfall of good people who know their stuff.
yeah,
The problem will start if you do things which is half cooked,
Yeah.
right? And you start going in an area where you cannot bring that value. So just so you understand, right? So when I started designing financial services products, I took some specific courses when I was in US. I took some courses from Wharton. Then I became the membership of GARP, understanding risk management. Went through the course, never did the certification, but then to the course on risk management. At a later stage in my career, even if I was an AIM MBA already, MDP from AIM already, I still went ahead and did a because it's bit financial management, MBA finance management as well. So the point is, you constantly bring those skills, continuously move towards where you want to go. People will pay for you. No, don't worry about it, right? If you
Yeah.
start doing the other way around, that who starts giving me a better salary, so what can happen is this for first 3 years or 2 years you were building something for retail, and then you suddenly start building for petroleum because you got a opportunity in a petroleum company, and then you went into a healthcare. And what happens is, and this I want everybody in the engineering side to understand,
Yeah.
that you more majority of the people, until unless you are a innovator of its own kind, right, who is going to innovate something completely new out of the world and then it will solve the problem, right? So he's someone is very deep tech, which is 0.001%. But for rest of us, it is very important to understand where the technology, let's say for example, software development, right? We are all most likely from the software field, or a lot of people in colleges want to go into software. So you may think that software is something that we all should uh, focus on, which is the basic skill. We must,
Yeah.
not the end of the world. What happens? This is called software engineer's fallacy. I still see at after 25 years in the industry, within my team, within my colleagues, son, daughter, and all of them, people think I will be a better coder and you will be paid for it. There is a limit to it, because tomorrow, in next 4 or 5 years, you will be at par with somebody else who has done like 10, 12, 15 years,
Yeah.
right? So what you need is every year in your career, you need to bring that additional, I would say, what next? How you were better than the last year,
Yeah.
right? Now, I'll give you some example. Like I said that I would focus a lot on risk and quant, right? Now there is a specific type of developer that is called quant developer.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if you even heard of it,
No.
right?
Yeah.
And now they are called quant developer. What they do, financial quant models, they only work on that. They are actually Python programmers. They may
Yeah.
be a R programmer, they may be a SAS programmer, but they focus on quantitative modeling,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now, and how will you do a quantitative modeling? Say, for example, you create, index, what is called index,
Yeah.
Nifty, Sensex, and all, right?
Yeah.
So the large company create their own index. Large financial services company create their own index.
Right.
Who will create when it needs to be put into a system? So index will be created by a finance person. But when you want to bring it to the system, somebody need to understand that nitty gritty of an index, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Now, if you are a developer who has no idea what indexing is, how index works, then it is a very difficult thing for a finance person to continuously mentor you, tell you what to do, because then they have to tell you each and every smallest piece, right? But
Yeah.
say,
Yeah.
for example, you as a career has developed that skill in that quant development, maybe in finance, maybe in risk, right?
Yeah.
Then the requirements when comes to you, you will be like, okay, I understand what exactly. You don't need to be a finance person for it, right? So, but you will be able to speak the language that the banks speak. the asset management company is, the insurance is free, the healthcare is free, right?
Yeah.
Once you develop yourself to that. So that is what my journey has been. So I started as a developer, uh, continue to build first my core development skill, and again, I'm one of the fortunate or unfortunate in that sense to see dot-com bust, Y2K, 2008, 2014. These were very tough times, even 2000, COVID. These were tough times. The world changed in these areas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lost jobs, people were, I mean, God were kind enough to, I continue to survive. So it was more of a God's grace than my own skill. But again, uh, all these transitions taught me something that you need to be getting out of the skin. Your growth is not only what you learned in the college or not what you like, but also think about from the client's perspective. Think
Yeah.
about from the team's perspective. What are the additional skill if you bring to your life, your skill set may be more valuable to them.
Okay.
Right? So that has been my journey. So if you look at my journey from start to now, I have beyond technology and I still do code, but I continue to evolve. If you look at my LinkedIn profiles and some of the LinkedIn
Yeah.
posts that I do, I will talk about sensitivity analysis, risk modeling, so many other things, right? And not necessarily I'm expert on those, but I know what it is, right? How it can get influenced by change in the technology. So, it has been a journey which is not well thought of from day one, like a calendar, but the direction I was always clear. And I would
Yeah.
recommend everybody to be sure about your direction.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And moving to a particular geography, getting into a particular financial package and all that becomes a kind of a deviation for you. So let's start moving in that direction.
Okay, sir. Yeah.
So I think we're gonna have some fun now, and we're gonna do a rapid fire round. So we'd like you to answer the following questions with either one word or one sentence.
Okay. I'll,
What's the most intriguing technological trend you're keeping an eye on right now?
uh, it's LLM, but again, LLM is a misnomer, so to say. It's a very vast space. But yes, large language models is the one where we are right now focusing on.
All right, very interesting. If you had to pick one industry that excites you the most for AI innovation, which one would it be?
So for now, it's always a bank um, or the banking services, so to say. And the reason is simple that it's more complex than others where data regulations are too much.
Right. One book that significantly impacted your approach to leadership.
Uh, I'll give you two, right? There's so one is a book. I don't know if you can see this one. Uh, if you see this,
Yeah. Yeah.
Art of
Art.
War.
The Art of War, and this is Sanju, a Japanese warrior,
Yeah.
right? I'm not sure if you guys have read through this, but this is a book that can help you to find a lot of how you navigate in the difficult situation. So
Yeah.
that's one. And there is another book by Jack Welch. I hope you know this guy, Jack Welch, right?
Yeah.
He has a book called Winning.
Winning.
Right.
Yes. So
Yeah.
this is most likely the book
Mhm.
Winning, right? So if you go through these two books, you will be a lot better in terms of how you approach things. So I would recommend both of them.
That's great.
Yeah.
The next question is, if you could consult with one historical innovator, Who would it be?
So again, my choice would be Leonardo da Vinci because of his thought process, right? Because he was, I mean, if you look at, if you read about so many historians, you will see there are a lot of uh, innovative thinking. He may not have brought in so many things to the world, but his innovative thinking was amazing. But given
Yeah,
I am from technology, it will be Alan Turing.
right. That's very interesting. The next question, this is a bit of a personal one. So, your favorite memory of working with an international team?
If people talk about the favorite memory, I'll say you the bad memory,
Okay.
right? Uh, and it remains my favorite. I'm so kind of a unusual kind of a person I am because I also want to recall the failures that keeps you uh, running, right?
Yeah,
Rather than only your success. So this was a friend, this was a client of mine when I was in US. He was a, and everybody thought that he is a best friend. We are the best buddy, right? So we will usually over the weekend go together, drink, and all of that, right? We were very good friends. Um, Something really bad happened to the overall system. It was a huge project, right? It was like
yeah,
$250 million project, big project, and we were running it. I was the owner of the overall project. And this guy was seriously upset, right? So this guy was seriously upset and he was talking to somebody. And now, when you and I are friends, normally we meet each other with a smiling face,
Yeah.
right? So
yeah,
I was coming from far off, and his voice was also a bit muffled, right? He was not a very clean in his speech, so he was a very
yeah,
bit muffled. So when I came from the distance, I didn't realize that he is so upset and continued smiling, right?
Yeah.
And again, as I said in the very beginning, right? Geography, culture, people have their own preferences. They expect you to behave in a certain way in a certain situation.
yeah,
Right? This caused a kind of a highly uncomfortable situation,
right.
and that actually ended my relation with that client.
Oh
Oh,
shit.
Right? I mean, actually, it was the beginning of the ending, but I would say that is how the things can go wrong.
yeah,
So, and normally when I have people coming from different campuses and joining me and talking to me, I'll always tell them it's a different world when you are in corporate life, in when
yeah,
you're dealing with the clients, when you're dealing with the
yeah,
things which is very acceptable in a social setup may not be acceptable in a particular corporate setup, or maybe even
right,
in a cross culture setup, right?
right.
So I just wanted to give you a feeling. So see, a simple smile, which is normally harmless,
Yeah,
right? And it's a nice gesture, can cause these kind of a problems. So you need to be very serious about what you do. I just I just don't want to name anybody, anything, but yeah. But that's a learning. That's learning, and that makes me always keeps me always on toe to be better and be more sensitive to the people's emotion.
right.
Right.
So, coming to our last question of the rapid fire round, if you could automate one mundane task in everyday life, what would it be?
I think we have already done that, and that's to get the first thing in the morning a summary of what all I have on the plate today.
Right.
So I don't need to go into the system, find out, look at the calendars, look at the things, what is there. So if I can get a kind of a gist of everything that I have, anything is scheduled in my calendar, anything that is there in my mail which needs attention, and kind of a thing, I can
Yeah.
get a summary of it to begin with the day, then it can make me more effective directly going to the things that matter and not wasting time on say half an hour, just figuring that what exactly needs to be done. And by the way, some of the products that is there in the market, I don't want to name the product which I use, but yeah, we are already doing some bit of it.
Right.
Hopefully, it will be smarter.
Okay, so now let's ask some more questions again, only about your career. But uh, with so much experience, how did you stay motivated to embrace new technologies and disruptions? So you mentioned that you have kept evolving throughout your career and all, but when did you realize that this is like AI and hyper automation is where it's at currently?
That's a great question, and let me tell you again another story.
Yeah,
Learning from the story is good, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
so, first of all, I very much feel that as a human, you need to taste things, right? When you taste things and you likes it, you're going to. So say for example, I don't know if you like sweets, right? But if you do like sweet,
Yeah.
then it's an addiction,
Yeah.
right? You want to go buy more cigarette, anything. Anything means anything. Like a good thing like a sweet and a bad thing like cigarette, right?
yeah,
Everywhere, if you like it, so the first and foremost thing is that if you liked something, especially on the skill side at the start of your career, make all the effort to continue liking it.
Right.
That will bring automatically the events, the thing around it to you and keep you taking to the next level. So for me, I was, I mean, I don't claim it, but my supervisors, my organization used to claim very big thing about my software development skill.
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh, now, and that was to begin with, right? In the very early part of my career. And now when I look back, it gives me a feeling that that worked like a cocaine, drugs, because that that kept me high. Hey,
Yeah.
people think that I am great at doing this, so I cannot lag behind,
yeah,
Right.
right? So if you want to stay motivated through your life, you need to create appreciation for yourself. That the dopamine effect.
yes,
Yeah.
So this dopamine effect gives you reason to be more focused next time, because a one small appreciation that you will get will encourage you to take it to the next level. The problem starts and why people lose motivation is that once you are in a 5 year into your career, 10 year into your career, 12 year into career, you will start feeling that hey, I did what I did, I don't need to learn.
Yeah.
And gradually it starts slowing down.
yeah,
Right.
And then the dopamine effect goes, right? I
Yeah.
was somehow able to manage that effect. I was somehow always looking at people appreciating me for this. And then I put more effort to ensure that the appreciation continues.
would
Right.
you say getting into these new industries and like new concepts like AI, did that help continue this dopamine effect for you?
Uh, so again, this other way around.
Okay.
It's completely other way around. So let me tell you, because I always chart my path, what I want to exactly, I said you in the beginning, as an
Yeah.
individual, right? You need to find out how you want to grow.
Yeah.
So I give you a simple example. In 2012-13, RPA came into the market.
Right.
And RPA, and after RPA, there was hyper automation, there was BPM going into the market. There's so many other things, right? Then AI came into the picture. When RPA was into the market, I did my own due diligence and I was trusted by my organization to lead that whole pack. On the hindsight, something can be right, something can be wrong, but I, after evaluating that technology, I said, I don't want to waste time on this.
Right.
So I just give it a pass.
Yeah.
Then, after few years, when I and then at that time also I was working on analytics side of it, business analytics like solution, data mining, and all those stuff I continued to do, right? But I was not very happy with the RPA side of it.
Right.
Over the years, RPA evolved, AI, especially natural language processing and all evolved, which was kind of the very had a lot of similarity with the deep learning and machine learning algorithms getting into. So I was able to use those algorithms, may not be in the same format, but the concepts remain the same,
Yeah.
right? So that helped me to move into the NLP and all. At a later stage, when the same RPA tools and technologies that I was not very happy because I found that very brittle, solutions found to be very brittle, it can break down, so on and so forth. When it was 2012, 13, I feel excited about it
Yeah.
when it came in 2018, 2019, especially post 2000,
Yeah.
when they started bringing artificial intelligence based decision making in the same RPA tool,
Yeah.
and they called it hyperautomation.
Right.
So I picked it up. So what I was trying to explain through this story is that each individual, based on their skill set, based on their judgment, has to pick what works for him and where he is convinced. Very much like in a stock market investment.
Right.
You should not follow a mad rush. That if somebody said, "Hey, artificial intelligence," and we can talk about it, artificial intelligence a lot, but just so that you know, right? There are at least a dozen type of artificial intelligence portfolio or the type of developers that is available in the market. At least a dozen type of.
Right.
If even if you want to go in the artificial intelligence space, what you want to do, what is your sweet spot? When you are in college, you think you are going to do everything,
Yeah.
right? Because you don't have that whole 360-degree view to it, right? But when you come mm, to a real life project, a large scale project or implementation, you will know that, oh, I don't need all of it, but I need three of it. But then for these three of them, I need significantly, I would say, comprehensive, I would say, knowledge, which is way beyond books, way beyond these collabs and others, right? So you chart out your own. My point is, chart out your own journey.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, so like you said, the dopamine effect is very important. So obviously, when you're not experiencing a breakthrough, it would be hard to stay motivated. So can you share with us an example of how you partnered with a company like AWS, Google, or Microsoft to bring about such breakthroughs?
So in the industry, uh, I see them as product owners, right? They
Yeah.
will they will try to bring certain things to you,
Right.
which they have to sell, right? Whether it is
Yeah.
Microsoft, Google, Amazon of the world, because IBM, right? They will all
Yeah.
bring things to you that they want to sell to you, right?
Yeah.
Problem starts whether it fits your landscape. So if I just give you a simple example, there is a Gemini, there
Yeah.
is GPT-4 that comes from OpenAI directly,
Yeah.
then there is a GPT-4 that comes from Azure,
Yeah.
right? Then there are things like cloud, which is Anthropic, which comes
Yeah.
from AWS. Then
Right.
there's Perplexity. But, and by the way, this is an Indian, one of the Indian. He is not even a US citizen right now. So,
Yeah.
so it comes from Perplexity. Now, these are all public LLM, right? Public large language models. Now, if you want to use them in your solution, which one you should be using? So each one, all these big players are willing to come and partner. So we do work with Google, we do work with Amazon, we do work with Microsoft,
Yeah.
large extent. I mean, we had a hackathon last week only with Microsoft.
Oh.
But if you look at what they bring to the table,
Right.
you have to start thinking it like they are bringing to the table the bricks for the house. And its importance is that which brick you want to use. That's it. Everything else in the building is you. So if you, and a lot of students especially, they want to trivialize this whole concept, right? Because they think Microsoft will solve something for you. No. Google will solve something for you. No. They are going to give you a set of, so say for example, LLM. I'm taking an example of LLM for just simplicity purpose, not necessarily.
Yeah.
But you pick API service, any popular API service, at least five service providers are there on the internet. Almost all of them are giving you competitive pricing. Some of them may have a data cache better, somebody may have a response better, somebody may have the structuring better, somebody may have a response time better, somebody can claim about security protocols they are supporting better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who will take the decision? It's you. The biggest mistake I see clients making, and we as a professionals making. See, first of all, if the professional is not having enough, I would say, brain power or
Yeah.
the ability to analyze, they will go by the presentation of one of these websites.
Right.
Right? But then the next thing is, all this needs to be combined together to produce a solution that solves the bank's problem or insurance company problem or a some kind of a, say for example, some, you want to analyze some of the trends on the internet, some Twitter trends or something, right? They don't do the analysis for you. They provide you service that you can use to do the analysis. So some of you may be doing some coding and all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when you do the coding, you use libraries, right?
Yeah.
And libraries, you call those libraries with some referencing, some include, some reference, something you do, and then you call those
Yeah.
libraries, send out the parameter, get the answer, right?
Yeah.
Rarely you write full algorithm on your own, most of the
Yeah.
time, right? So you some of the service that these guys are running behind the scenes, it has got exactly the same value. It's just that those APIs are not installed on your machine. It's available online,
Yeah.
right? It's a subscription. But still, what you want, it has to be done by you. So I don't give a lot of value to these companies in solving my problem, but they are integral part of my life cycle, my product life cycle, my thinking, because they have their ability to bring those innovative APIs, the core infrastructure to build. And here,
Yeah.
infrastructure doesn't mean the hardware only, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Infrastructure also means these APIs, these libraries, these different stuff. The ability to bring those world-class infrastructure, like the tiles in your house, right? The best
Yeah.
quality tile, the best quality AC, and all of that. you are getting, right? Here also we are getting those, right? But
Right.
just buying the best quality tiles or best quality AC or best quality stuff is not going to build you the greatest house, right?
Yeah.
So, so it's a kind of a partnership, and it's also your judgment in choosing the right partner when you want to build your house.
Right.
Each one of them. If I want to, if I can show you my phone or my desktop, you will see I will have kind of a subscription to each one of them. I test each one of them. I explore each one of them. My team does do research on each one of them. Do we use all of them? Oh, rarely.
Yeah.
We use them when we need them,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, we do partner with all these companies to understand what they bring to the table, and
Oh.
that segment is ours.
Right.
Shifting our focus to your time at BITS, uh, we know that the BITS alumni network is quite extensive, as we can see here. Has it helped contribute to your growth or your success at any point, or opened any doors for you?
Uh, I would be telling you a few things that may not be again aligned to your overall views, but
Okay.
let me tell you today, BITS network and alumni is way more powerful. When I went in my college days and throughout my life, I really, not because I am an alumni, right? But I see this as a more equitable platform than anything else in India. And I don't want to name the competitive government college, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this is a lot more competitive environment, which is more international, more. When you go to a campus, you will see people of similar talent, similar work culture, similar,
Yeah.
and then the course itself is a lot open than the traditional, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That really reflects in the alumni also. In our time, it was not in. We even for finding a job, we have to take our resume and go to a consultant, right? If it is not a
Yeah.
campus, you need a next job. There was no even not even a website, and the
Yeah.
websites were also very dead, right?
Yeah.
So, so experience of my time, and again after 25 years, career growth is more about how industry see me as a brand, right? How I fit rather than some recommendation, some opportunity sharing and all, right? So that's not the case. But then I have a lot of connect with the people who are from it, right? And today this network is doing wonderful. I do get a lot of your Bitsa alerts also,
Right.
right? So it does open a lot of doors for the
Yeah.
people. May not be a 50, for a 25 years, but definitely when you talk to the people with the Bits alumni tag behind you, people do listen to you. Uh, People do want to interact with you. So
Yeah.
that's a kind of a legacy that we carry, right?
Yeah.
But at the same point of time, in today's world, Bits Alumni Network is helping a lot, and I know
Mhm.
multiple people in this who has got the benefit of having a Bits network,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? And so, so congratulations to you guys for putting all those hard effort.
Thank you. What about your fondest memory at BITS? What do you think that was?
Very difficult. It was all everything was nice. I mean, but
If you had to choose anyone or anything that like stood out to you or was like fun in your time.
yeah, it's a open conversations, right? And not being a box, right?
Yeah.
That's the biggest advantage I would say, because
Yeah.
in a normal traditional college, traditional environment, it's not that way. So
Yeah.
that's the
Right.
For sure.
biggest, I would say, that the best thing that can. And again, for Indian students studying in India,
Yeah.
BIT will be one of the places I can always say that it will be one of the places where they should be.
So, looking to the future for a bit now, if you had to predict the state of enterprise technology 5 years from now, what do you think it would look like?
Very difficult to answer. Things are changing at such a pace. It's almost impossible to predict.
Right.
And that brings to me, and that makes me also uh, suggest to my colleagues and my clients that the changes are so fast that more than the change,
Yeah.
the framework for change, the framework for adoption needs to be perfect with the organizations today. And there, the AI consulting roles uh, within companies, AI governance, right? So I would say in next 5 years, a whole ecosystem around AI driven uh, solutions is going to be a lot mature,
Yeah.
and we will stop saying AI to become a part of your life.
Yeah.
Right now, you talk about AI because you think it is new, right? It is new, it is a high octane thing, it is going to, it is the differentiating factor, so on and so forth, right? But when you go to in another 5 years down the line, 5 years is too far, it may happen even before that. But this, the traditional technology and AI is going to fuse in such a way that it will be very difficult to segregate them. I just put yesterday I put a post on LinkedIn,
Okay.
which
Right.
was which was about why compound AI system. So if you look at today, if you look at today, and I'm just taking few things from there. So if you look at today, all we are talking about is LLM does this, or I can summarize the document, I can get the answers, I can do this, I can do that. Using AI, the discussion is moving towards how it solves the end to end problem.
Right.
If you read the technology from early 70s, 80s, right? That was the time also when people used to solve point problems. Technology, using technology, they used to solve the point problem. I just give an example. What is this point problem? Ria want to apply for a job.
Yeah.
So what she will do, she will first boot operating system on the laptop. Then she need a word processor. It could be Google Docs. It could be MS Office, whatever, Star Office, whatever. You just open it. You created a resume. Then you need a third system, which is Naukri.com
Yeah.
or Alumni portal, where you update it.
Yeah.
Then you go to a fourth system, which is an email, where you will be looking for the notification. And then there is a fifth system called Google Meet, where you will be appearing for interview,
Yeah.
and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, each one of, but objective is what? What Ria is trying to achieve? She is trying to get a job.
Yeah.
Right.
So there is not one system that is tracking her through from a start to end,
You're
right?
saying AI could
Right.
do that, or like
Yeah.
current technology could do that.
So no, not AI, but you need a system that can be a compound,
Oh,
which
okay.
Right.
is adding all of them together, making it seamless for you.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
sometimes that is not possible because of the commercial reasons. Sometimes it is not possible because of some technical technology limitations, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But those are essential steps,
Right.
right? With the compound system, With the compound AI system, what we are talking about, don't talk AI in isolation. Talk about different types of dynamically AI agents coming into the picture, collaborating with each other, and
Yeah.
giving you solution end to end.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So, so that is basically a kind of a evolution from. So nothing changes from AI perspective what we have today, but the maturity of application that you will be building going forward is going to be far more.
Right.
How they integrate with each other, how, because see, this is not only integration. There can be failure in between. There can be handshake problem. There can be misrouting problem. There could be decision problem, right? So
Yeah.
start to end. So now we are moving. So we have proven in 2023 and 24 that the technology like LLMs and other and individual agents and certain things are working. They get you the solution, what you want,
Right.
each solution. Now we are talking about converting that into a bunch of solutions coming together. And of course, that means creating a system. You might have used this word system. System itself means small components coming together and working as a single unit. So that compound system, I think, is going to be the way we are going to take it forward, which essentially means there will be people responsible for writing that small AI component agent. Then there will be people who will be responsible for integrating the agent. There will be people who will be responsible for running such complexes and more. Right? So,
Yeah.
so yeah. So in going forward, starting 25, say 28 to 29, I think the compound system will pick up. It's exactly
Right.
the way it used to happen in 70s, 80s. A small application got converted into a kind of a bunch of application working together, then service-based application, similar kind of a journey may be happening with the compound systems as well.
Okay. Yeah, that's quite interesting. Actually, it's pretty interesting take on this. So, do you have any final advice that you would want to give students who are currently pursuing careers in tech or who are going to start?
Uh, I would say these are some of the things that I did not do, and maybe
Yeah.
the at my time it was ahead of time, or maybe our country was not ready, or
Yeah.
maybe because again, I as a principal, I never hold my teachers responsible for anything because they always help you with what best they can and what they have, right? They
Yeah.
have no intention to keep you uneducated, right? They have all the incentive to get you. So there are three, four things that I would recommend people to really focus on, and in true sense, not in the sense of some of the old 70s, 80s books that you read in the college.
Hmm.
So one is the system design. So when I say system design, look at some of the use cases of the system design that is already existing. Lot
Okay.
Yeah.
of these Google, Amazons, they publish blueprint of system design. That how a complex system will work, how a compound system will work, how it will do, right?
Yeah.
And most likely, if that can be brought in, that people can focus more so if it can be brought into the syllabus itself,
Right.
right? Which can be an elective, which can be a dynamic syllabus
Hmm.
where, where all the latest design patterns can be incorporated, say, every year. So BITSA guys can do the research every year,
Yeah.
and they recommend, hey, this 10 patterns we identified across the industry is coming up. Let's include it in the area and make sure that the next batch of people actually read it.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Yeah.
that's the system design side of it. Other is business studies, and now I know business studies has been already introduced as an elective with you guys, and you can
Yeah.
handle it. But business studies is something must everybody should must learn.
Right.
because it should be, rather than making it elective, if you can make it accounting and business studies, if you can make them as a core, um, that will actually set you up for understanding market better, people better, demands better, right?
Yeah.
So business studies, because at the end of the day, you will be designing system for running businesses.
Yeah.
So it is always good to have some level, even if it is a two credit paper, but if it makes a lot of sense to get some idea about business studies, some raw terms in business.
Yeah.
And so more than elective, if it can be core, great.
Yeah.
And the third thing that I would recommend is software architecture. I don't know if nowadays you guys have software architecture as a paper or not,
No, I
but
don't
but
think so.
but software architecture and software design pattern, right? They need to be part, because see, this is a very difficult thing to, again, you know this fundamental thing. I don't know, you want to edit it, please edit it. But I just say there is no training of architecture in the world, software architecture. At least I don't know.
Yeah.
Go and try to Google it if it is. If it is, do send me the link. I don't think there is. And even if the people who train you as architecture, they are just selling this word. They are not actually training you anything on architecture. They're selling you this
Yeah.
word. So I would recommend that if something can be done about software architecture, software pattern, maybe as a part of your seventh semester, maybe as a part of eighth semester. It's very difficult to do it early.
Okay.
Impossible. Until unless you are a very good coder, you understand, you are able to develop some kind of a prototype application, things and all of that.
Yeah.
Getting into software architecture will be tough, right?
Yeah.
So it is better. If not here, then maybe in. I think masters it is there already, but again that course itself is very old. So if you can also bring something on the software architecture, so these are the three things I would recommend, right? We never read it, and but these are something which is, I think, very helpful for the upcoming software engineers, systems engineers to know.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that concludes our podcast for today. It's been lovely having you on with us. I think Ria and I really enjoyed some of the answers that you gave us,
Yeah. Really learned
and
a lot from this.
yeah, and we'd definitely love to stay in touch.
Yeah,
So
absolutely, sir. And thanks, Ria, for reaching out, and thanks, Ratan, for being here and managing things with me. Yeah, some of these explanations may would have bounced off in some cases. Don't worry about it. If you want to talk, do feel free to reach out. Right? I know, Ria, I've been difficult in getting hold of because of my calendar. But yeah, anytime if I can help, I can give you any clarifications that I can.
Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you.
help.
thank you so much for your
Yeah.
time, sir.